Classic rock Beagle.
Well, hello, Moser. Well, welcome. Welcome to my home. How are you doing? What brings you here? Oh, you brought other guy, didn't you?
I don't want to. I'm so
Passanio is on him. Allen trying to hold him off, and the whistles will rule it down.
okay. I apologize. 80s music.
Yes.
Hell, I graduated from high school in 1987. Most people are nostalgic about music from their high school years. With some notable exceptions we'll talk about in our best of the 80s. I hated that music and I still do.
Yes.
Yes.
I ended up finding a bunch of 1980s music that I really liked. I cut some really good songs from the list.
Did you hear that, Katrina? Oh, that's so wonderful. Congratulations, other guy. Oh, now you see your latest is maybe about infinity minus one. Would you like to go and hear some music?
Oh, no.
Alright. What is this about?
Well, we're doing this is the best of the 80s compilation, and I found, reviewing them, I found a lot of really good songs, even though I have some memories of some really bad, lame music. There was some great music released between January 1st and December 31st, 1989.
Okay.
Re-releases do not count. And if the song was released both as on an album and as a single, the earlier one is the date we'll go with. Top 10 songs are in order of quality, with 5 honorable mentions, with an artist only eligible for 1 spot on the entire list, although an individual can technically obtain more than 1 spot. For example, once as a solo artist, once as
Let's
a
go,
band.
Katrina.
Final grade based on overall quality. The grades with 5 elementals of music and the lyrics generally correspond with overall grade, but not necessarily. Hey, wait! I haven't gone through the intricate details of my grading system. That was a 90s reference, Moser. At least we can now go back to our little hole in the wall. While we travel, amuse ourselves with the honorable mentions. Whatever credibility I had as a critic is now completely shot. But this is a catchy, energetic song, and it's fun to play in a band. About infatuating about a girl based on a phone number on a bathroom wall. As usual, it's the distinct and eclectic musical ideas that put Bowie over the top. He was an artist in a true sense. Lyrically, it's the usual Bowie nonsense. Don't think too hard about what Major Tom's a junkie means. Shout out to my hometown. Buffalo native Grover Washington Jr. broke into commercial success in the pre-MTV 80s. The last dying gasp of jazz in the mainstream. He teamed up with Bill Withers on this memorable song. Moser has a joke. I loved this song when it came out, and then forgot about it.
I rediscovered Kate Bush with this video.
But there's no need to worry if at first you don't succeed. When it died, I swept aside the rest and was decreed.
I laughed so hard at this parody. Then I learned that the original was even more ridiculous and wonderful. Now I'm hooked. This is a Queen entry. Easily my favorite Queen song with energy, melody, and motion. And Mercury and Bowie kill on this record. I guess they would kill, actually. At any rate, you can consider this my number 11 song. And now for the top 10. Jimmy Walker cracks me up. Coming off their wildly successful Ghost in the Machine album, the Police followed it up with the number 1 song of 1983. However, being the enormous Police fan that I was then, I still bought the Synchronicity album and loved it. Synchronicity 2 was released as the 3rd single in October 1983. A great melodic line. Sting at times can be a great vocalist, and S2 works really well for his voice. Sting can write very complex songs, and sometimes works out really well, like when he's playing with the Police. And sometimes it works against him, like when he works solo. So here's the it's the old Phil Collins joke, by the way. The intro starts out with just the F sharp minor. Then the verse. Now the pre-chorus. This is a really interesting part here. Now the chorus. Really powerful rhythm, though not the most imaginative. Synchronicity was the album where Sting started dictating to drummer extraordinaire Stuart Copeland how he should play. And as brilliant as his playing was, I keep thinking he was being constrained somewhat. This could have been a straight A is what I'm saying. The pieces fit well together. There are really no ebbs or flows to this song. And -1 for the guitar solo. Yeah, give it a listen. What were they thinking of? It was an aggressive sound, perhaps a touch too experimental at times, and -1 for the noise solo, of course, although it did fit the emotion of the song. Don't think too hard. Sting here captures the emotions of middle-class urban life, I thought it was a bit melodramatic, to be sure, but at the same time, the moods themselves were candid, realistic, and clearly expressed. But what the hell does any of this have to do with Nessie?
The Police released a lot of really strong music in the 80s. They got better as the decade wore on, until they decided they couldn't work together anymore. Synchronicity 2 is a great song, as well as a half dozen other Police songs from that decade. Next.
Level 42 started in 1979 in the Isle of Wight. They attained sustained success in the UK, reaching the top 20 11 times as recently as 1994. In the good old US of A, they only had 2 hits, the larger of which was Something About You, the lead single from their 6th album, World Machine. The melodic line is the strength of the song. Although neither Billy King nor Mike Lindup are standout singers, their combination here is really good.
Something About You by the Wiggles. Level 42. This is a little difficult for me to play. There's some funky things going on here, which trying to play it all on keyboards between the rhythms and the fact that it's in the key of E with where G is actually a prominent note. So that's in the melody. So with all that going on, I'm sure to botch this, but I'll play it for it anyways. So there's 3 parts. The intro I'll play for you first. So the walk-up ends on a C, but a C chord. It's just a walk of notes going up to that, though. This is true for the chorus and the intro. Verse. The same thing over and over with the verse. It's the E relative minor, full step down, D relative minor. So that's how that goes. Then now this part's when I'm really going to mess up here. The chorus. You get the idea. The bass line is pretty interesting, but other than that, the rhythm is somewhat forgettable. The key to the song is the walk-up and pre-chorus. It's a pretty basic form otherwise. The sound during the walk-up at the pre-chorus is very effective, and I like King's pop bass particularly. There are good guitar solos in the song as well. The lyrics are well constructed and the structure was interesting. There is a structure for meter, rhythm, and rhyme. What they're talking about, I want you, but I'm not in love with you, because, there's something non-descriptive about you. Pass. The only song I remember from Level 42 is a holdover from the list I made in 2012. It was number 7 then, it's number 9 now. Something About You is a great song. Next. By 1980, Talking Heads had gone from being an underground band for those in the know to a band with mild chart success.
At the strategically wrong time, the entire band took a break to release solo material, including the husband and wife rhythm section of Tina Weymouth and Chris Frantz. Weymouth brought along her sisters and a few musician friends, including future King Crimson frontman Adrian Belew, and released their debut album Tom Tom Club in 1981. Their debut single went nowhere, but their follow-up was their biggest hit and our number 8 song of the 80s. The recurring synth line is the earworm of the decade, which is why it has been so thoroughly sampled over the decades. In addition, this is a killer melodic line. The Weymouth sisters are serviceable singers, and Tina Weymouth is okay as a rapper, but they are working with superior material.
Yeah, this is a very rough estimate, and also they seem to mix things up, and it's a very experimental song, so can't cover everything. I'll just give you a little sampler here. They give you the riff, of course, which is this right here. And I'll do the part of the verse. Just this random one comes to mind.
The strong rhythm, really good when you factor in the rhythm guitar, and I love the overall sound. Some of the more experimental elements were somewhat unpleasant, though. The rapping wasn't that bad. There's good percussion work from Chris Frantz in the interlude. I like that they tried new things with the same vibe. Minus a half a point for the James Brown part. That seemed a bit gratuitous. Damn, it's catchy. One way to tell it's the perfect arrangement for what they're trying for. Nothing stands out. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, but that keyboard riff slays. The balance and the production are superb. Yeah, the lyrics, it's a fascinating mess. The lyrics paint a picture of a man who is unreliable but makes the heart flutter. It's shallow but convincing. It drops a spot due to unnecessary name dropping.
I went to an inner city middle school, and this song was the jam when I was in 7th grade. More impressively, this song has aged well over the years. Honorable mention in 2012, Genius of Love is a legendary song, if shallow. Next.
Singer-songwriter Tracy Chapman first made a name for herself by releasing her debut album in 1988. She literally went straight from coffee houses to MTV. A classmate of hers at college heard her and was very impressed. This classmate happened to be the son of a recording executive. Well, good for her. It's nice to see talent get the big break, especially in the 80s. Ahem. It's ironic on a folk tune that composition is not its strength. The melody and Tracy Chapman's delivery are both fine. Tracy's a bit hamstrung because she's got a lot of story to fit into this song, and this made the words as the focus rather than the melody. She did very well with what she had.
I'm just going to do the riff on the verses, not the actual melody up here. Just gonna do the riff here because this everything is bedrock. The bedrock of the verse is the riff. I'll do that just a couple.
Pre-chorus. I'm going to do a truncated version of that. You get the idea. Coincidentally, Fast Car has the same beats per minute as Genius of Love. Now, the rhythm is somewhat extraneous to Fast Car, as it was mostly just an acoustic guitar riff with light drums. Fast Car has 7 verses, including 4 in a row. Now, how can this be an A, I hear you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. There is a really powerful effect that I will discuss in more detail in the timbre section. The timbre section. Most of Fast Car is an acoustic guitar with light drums. That's as 80s as Dexy's Midnight Runners using fiddles and a banjo. The extended use of the sheer simplicity of the verses makes the use of the band on the chori to pop out all the more in contrast. Hence the A on the form and the A minor on timbre. Utterly fascinating. Tracy Chapman here seems to be singing about the same man that Tina Weymouth had just sung about on Genius of Love. The man is unreliable but makes her feel good. The difference is this. Genius of Love sings about him, giggle, giggle, tee-hee. Tracy Chapman is singing about a mature relationship that has been weathering all the storms of a difficult life together with him. Tracy here is trying to balance making a better life with keeping alive what made her feel special early in their relationship. These are the best lyrics of the decade, on or off the list.
We went from the shallowest song in the list to the deepest. Tracy Chapman tells the tale of a woman who's holding on to her dreams in the midst of hard times. I have nothing but respect for the song, especially in the form and in the lyrics. Fast Car is a legendary song. Next.
T'Pau is a British band from Shrewsbury. They paid the dues by going right to work on their demo. Seriously, I found nothing about them beating their way to the top. Anyways, their debut single, Heart and Soul, reached number 4 in both the UK and the US. In Britain, it was the beginning of a long, successful career culminating in the worldwide smash hit China in Your Hand. In the US, they were never heard from again. The soft, wordy rapping in the verses contrasts well with two things. First, the broad, soft singing in the verses, and then the full-throated singing in the pre-chorus. I'm really impressed by Carol Decker's work on this song.
Do Heart and Soul. I'm going to do it from the second verse so that I got something to play up here. Kind of give reference for the chords that come out down here. Here's the second verse. Pre-chorus. And then the chorus. Bridge.
effective the melody falling out of the chord structure sometimes. It's pretty good. Some of the particularly 80s effects drive me crazy. But when you strip some of this overproduction away, the buildup is really, really effective. It makes my head bop despite some of the problems. The interplay between the rapping and singing was pretty special, actually. My only complaint is that the bridge seemed like it was crammed in there. It didn't quite fit the rest of the song and seemed to break the momentum. A bridge can be really effective in setting the scene for the last chorus, but sometimes it actually gets in the way. The sound and the production were fine, if too much of a child of its time. Overproduction, yeah, not everybody's Tracy Chapman. The guitar work was pretty good, but oh, those drum sounds, yikes! A lot of words with not much to say. It was crafted fairly well, though. Good in terms of the meter and the rhyme structure, but it is a lot of fluff for saying, if you love me, you need to show it. I've been pestering Todd in the shadows to review Heart and Soul for his One Hit Wonderland series. Maybe he's just waiting for me to review the song first. Heart and Soul is a legendary song. Your move, Todd. Next.
Oh, lovely lady, clothed with the sun, beloved by God before the world begun. Alone, untouched by sin, above the seraphim, oh, tender mother true, oh, saving metal bloom, upon thy wings we fly. Who art enthroned on high, our mother for us poor sinners below. Our shelter through this wretched world of woe. The tide coming crashing in, the waves come bashing in, unto thee do we cry. When earthly hope is gone, when the clouds stifle dawn, cast your ear to...
Okay, since the hat is continuity error, we'll throw this in here.
Okay.
Scene 4. Good job, Gwen. Did I even stop it? I don't think I stopped it, did I?